episode 2 of whatever we're going to end up calling this. It's a kind of an opportunity to shed some light on some of our seniors that are outgoing out of our Guerrilla Wrestling Club program. My name is Cody Buchanan. I'm the head coach at Guerrilla Wrestling Club. And today, well, now later today, after I got done with our first episode of this, I have a new guest, graduated at 160 pounds for Lake City, is Derek Meincke. Derek is a two-time section third placer, one time took fourth, was on a couple of Min USA teams going up to Fargo, so he's gotten that experience. Great, not only leader, but a good kid to keep the feeling light in the room. Not always a whole lot of seriousness out of Derek, so I'm interested to see what we get out of this senior interview. But we have Derek Meincke with us. Derek, how's it going, man? Amazing. Wonderful. What is quarantine life like for you, whether it's just life or training right now? What's it like for you?
You know, it's pretty boring. I usually wake up between 8 and 9 o'clock, and I watch some TV. Sometimes I work out right away in the morning. Depends how I'm feeling. But watch some TV, have class at like 9:30-ish. To do that, do some homework, maybe take a nap later in the day. So just working out, nothing too big.
And how's distance learning going?
It's a lot easier. My grades are a lot higher because, you know, just that good. But yeah,
All right.
hard at times because I can't get help that I need if I don't understand something. So, but other than that, it's fine.
As an educator, I feel you, brother. I feel you. So we're going to kind of go over just about your, not necessarily your career in depth the whole way, but just some highlights and things. But when did you get started? How did you get started? What happened that you became a wrestler?
So I actually started in the spring of 6th grade. My brother did the high school season in 8th grade, my older brother. He did that, and like my dad kind of wanted me to do it, so I tried it out in 6th grade, and I liked it, so I continued. So I did it in 7th grade with the high school and stuff, and I continued that for a while, all the way through my career.
Okay,
so, yeah.
Interesting. And your dad
actually started with
you actually what?
I started with freestyle instead of folk style.
That is a crazy sidebar that I'd like to dive into at some point. That's something I didn't even know about you. I didn't even know. I mean, we've been training together for a minute, and I didn't know that you started in the 6th grade.
Well, I actually did start in like 1st grade, or else like 1st and 2nd grade, and then I quit, and then I started back up again.
And then your dad threw you back in the lion's den?
Yep.
Shouts out to the whole Meincke family. You guys are good people. I like you. Thank you for keeping me busy at tournaments and listening to me be upset about things that I probably don't need to be upset about. So now that I'm just learning, you started in the 6th grade as far as like continuous wrestling. When you as you got more into wrestling, who are people or you know, figures that you kind of look up to or that you have looked up to in the sport of wrestling?
Well, when I was younger, so like in probably 7th or 8th grade, like probably that senior junior class, like Andrew Schmidt, Shane Seward, Will Bala, those guys. Like I just looked up to them and wanted to be like them, like work as hard as them, be as good as them. So yeah.
Okay, another great name. So then I kind of fast forward, and not that your youth things aren't interesting to me, because they are. I, like I said, didn't even know you were a 6th grade starter. As you came into my program, to our program, however I'm supposed to say it to be culturally correct, I think we caught you end of 9th grade going into 10th grade. Does that sound right?
Yeah, I think I was going to the Monday night in Rochester. Then we saw you at a few tournaments. Then you told us to come down to your club, so we tried that out.
That's kind of how that works a whole lot.
Yep.
Because Tanner Frank had been coming down, like here and there.
Yeah.
That must have been, because otherwise I didn't really talk. I mean, I didn't have a whole lot of connections up in
Or
your
him and
area of the
Vargas.
woods. Yes, my man.
They just never invited me along.
And now it seems like we get a ton of Lake City kids, and you were a little bit of a trailblazer in that regard. But as Derek kind of came into the program, first pretty quiet. I just got done talking with Owen, and I probably couldn't get him to shut up during practice, whereas it was you were a little more reserved, but always good for a comment or two that maybe didn't need to be made all the time. But I think one of the fun things that, for those of you who are watching or don't understand, haven't been into practice, like it's kind of what makes it worth it. Like, yes, I love coaching wrestling. I love teaching technique. I love watching kids scrap, get better, get their hand raised, etc. But sometimes the things that, now that I've had a few weeks to kind of think back on it, like some of the funnest times, most fun, whenever it's grammatically correct, have been like some of the dumb stuff you guys do and the stupid things
Yeah.
you say that drive me nuts. But in fact, I've learned that I can't even give Derek positive reinforcement, because every time I do and I tell him nice job on something, he has to ask me if I like that in a
Yep.
very condescending manner. So I always appreciate that about you, Derek.
Yeah. Not only for practice do I get the wrestle, but I also get to make fun of you and the other guys and stuff.
Big
It's always a
highlight of
good
the
time.
club. Yeah, when you can bully an adult, they really appreciate it. Moving forward, as I brought this question up to Owen, and my thought was, I personally, I believe every wrestler kind of has a moment where they go, poof, like the light bulb comes on, like I get this, I can be good at this. When do you think your first kind of breakthrough was in the sport of wrestling?
Well, so in ninth and 10th grade, I was okay, but I wasn't really the best. And I came to all your practices to try to get better. But the moment it clicked was probably the beginning of my junior year. I was winning probably that Northfield tournament around then. It's before that I won a few matches, and then I go out there and win that tournament. So at that point I was like, oh, I can beat anybody now. I'm as one of the best. Anything's possible.
And that would have been the same tournament where you beat a kid in the top 5, Owen beat a kid in the top 5, and then you guys met in the finals. Is that the one we're talking about?
Yeah.
Now, just because we're on this topic now, and I asked Owen at the end of his, when his gets uploaded, you will see why this is funny. What do you think the record is between you and Owen in sanctioned matches?
Well, I beat him twice and he beat me once, so 2-1.
2-1. See, he played it off real slow, like, oh, I think I'm up by 1 or we're tied. And I'm like, I don't know. Let's walk that one back. And then so he
I don't know
said,
about
well,
that.
I wrestled him at Lake City this year, and I wrestled him at Lake City last year. And I said, and you wrestled him at Northfield. Well, yeah. Oh, I guess he might be up by 1 on me.
Yeah.
So after we went back through it, he decided to be honest about it. So interesting, and we'll talk more about that piece of it later. So we talked a little bit about kind of your breakthrough moment, and a little bit about the trilogy between you and Owen as far as competing. What is your favorite memory so far, wrestling wise or around wrestling, from your start to now the end of high school wrestling?
So are you talking through the high school career or through the club?
Through anything wrestling related.
Probably my entire junior year, because I won 35 matches or something like that, and I was just having some pretty good success. And all my other teammates in my grade, they've been wrestling since probably first grade and stuff like that, and I just started in sixth grade. And I was winning all the tournaments, and they were still down there the third, fourth place matches, all that crap. So just nice to see me ahead of them, even though I got into it late, because I probably worked harder than them in the off season. So that kind of felt nice, and probably remember that the most.
Well, and then for anybody who doesn't know, you get through junior year, you train through, you wrestle Fargo, then fall of senior year comes up, and you break your leg.
Yep.
What do you remember about that night, Derek?
Well, there was lots of screaming and lots of pain. I know you watched it happen. So
Yeah,
yeah,
as much I love the company of your family, but that was not a time where I was super stoked to have seen that.
yeah, that was a long week of pain and discomfort. I think I maybe slept like 8 hours that entire week.
Well, and it was just crazy for me to hear that not only were you in the hospital with a broken leg, another one of your high school teammates had one broken earlier in the month, and a club mate from Plainview had broke his the same night. It was a very concerning weekend, to say the least.
Yep,
Um,
that was
now,
crazy.
you didn't what? I'm sorry.
I didn't expect to see Martine there that night. That was for sure.
Yes. Moving forward now, kind of looking back on it, this is what we're calling the advice portion, or that I'm referring to. So, what is like the favorite piece of advice or like a life lesson that you've taken away from wrestling?
Um, Probably that like anything's possible. Like just because like a kid has a better record than you or you may think is better than you doesn't mean they are better than you. Like you can beat them. Like it doesn't matter as long as you work hard in them. Or like to say, score more points. Whoever scores more points wins the match.
And,
And that's
and
like
that's
so true.
and it's hard for kids to get right in a sport of wrestling where every time somebody wins, somebody loses. Like it gets a little bit of a hierarchy where you see, oh well, that kid beat me, and then that kid beat somebody else, so I must be down here. Um, and it's really not, and it's hard to get your brain out of that mode, I think, for some kids. But at the end of the day, yeah, you just have to beat them mathematically. Like they get 7, you got to get 8, or make their shoulder blades touch for a second and a half.
Yeah.
Like it's really not that difficult. So thinking maybe, and this could be to yourself or to anybody, but for a wrestler like just joining the sport, what kind of advice would you give them?
Probably like just to stick with it because like I know lots of kids on my team they like go out 7th grade and 8th grade and like they come to like the like upper practices with us because like in our room we split for junior high and or the high school.
Oh,
They practice like two different. We practice at the same time, but like they're at the different end of the room doing their own thing. They like get to our level and they're like it's like too hard for them and they quit even though like even if they're like good they quit. So like we just like stick with it and like just not give up. Like you'll get better and might be good. Like for me in 7th grade, I won like 10 matches on JV. Then my next year in 8th grade, I won like 30 matches on JV. Then the next year I wrestled varsity a few times. So just like stick with it and work hard and you'll get there someday.
how about advice to a wrestler who's like just starting to take the sport seriously? Like they got a little taste of success. What would you tell them now?
I mean, just take advantage of like every opportunity you have because like you could break your leg or something at some point or something could happen and you could
Or
like never wrestle again.
or there could be a pandemic.
Yeah, that
And
too.
we've had quite the Murphy's Law of situations here with you in the
Yeah.
last year. Um, so, and again, I kind of alluded to this both in his interview and yours. Derek, what are your future plans?
I'm going to Eau Claire and I will be wrestling.
Okay, but what else will
Uh,
you be doing at Eau Claire that should be above wrestling?
well, first of all, wrestling's the priority. Then it comes. Then I'll be. My second priority will be majoring in exercise science.
Exercise science. That's the first thing
Yeah.
Owen said. He goes, well, I'm going to go to Eau Claire and I'm going to wrestle, going to wrestle there. I was like, and you're going to school, right? You're going there to get a degree, right? Yeah, I think I'm going to
Yeah.
major in like geology or biology. It's like, yeah, you could have added that a little earlier. Oh, exercise science, wonderful. Any ideas on, can you hear that?
Yeah.
One moment. So as I talked with Owen, so are you guys living together? Is that the plan?
Yeah. We're roommates.
That will be interesting. I look forward to
We're-
making my way up to Eau Claire at some point to watch you guys, because we got. I mean, obviously you two are freshmen there this year. Luke Creer from
Yep.
Zumbrota is going there, and we got Noah Carter from Rochester Mayo up there at Eau Claire already, and Mason Hawkins from Farmington's up there, who came from RCTC. Alfred's up there from RCTC. So you'll have some familiar faces. That'll be kind of nice.
We run that team, our club.
Any ideas on a weight class yet?
Probably, I don't know. It just kind of depends what I weigh here in a couple months, but as of right now, I'm planning probably 57.
Or wherever the coach tells you to go?
That too, yes. Take that into effect.
Yeah, sometimes you get a say, especially at the collegiate level. They might want to let you know what their plan is.
Maybe go down to the 40.
Time to really get on that descent plan. Have fun trying to make hydration.
Do they do piss tests?
They do have a hydration test. Yes, Derek. We don't have it in the state of Minnesota, but at the collegiate level, you have to be within your weight class by X amount and still be fully hydrated.
Yeah, I'll just do like a piss test though.
Yes, but if you're too dehydrated and you even make the weight, it doesn't count. Then you have to retake it or go up to a weight class different. It's quite the pain, honestly, but that'll be interesting.
Yep.
I guess outside of that, I don't. Oh, I do. Also, curveball. This is where this gets fun. So the person before you gets to ask you a question, and then after that, I'm going to take a question from you to give to the next person. So Owen's question, he did not know this was to you yet. What was your toughest loss? And give a little background on it.
Yeah, I've got a few of those. Probably. I don't know which one was worse, the one my junior year or senior year. What do you think?
I mean, they both hurt pretty similarly.
Okay, we'll go with both of them. Yeah, they're both pretty sucky.
And it's hard. And one thing that I give you a lot of credit for is kind of keeping everything on an even keel, even when maybe you didn't get to where you wanted to at that time, but others were. And that's when I think back to the section tournament from this year, and that's kind of in my mind, I think, okay, what happened to the section tournament? What happened at the state tournament? Now we're moving on to freestyle. And certain things, like certain kids achieving, Mike Nelson winning his first state title, Krell winning the state title, all of those. The first time I watched T beat Rommel, was it Rommel? Either him or Miller at the section tournament. Like some of those kind of stick out. And the one thing that sticks out in my mind from this year's section tournament was your true second match had gotten done and Garrett's was still going on. And by the time you kind of showered up and came over by me, it's kind of like I looked over and there you are. And I'm like thinking a whole lot of not so happy thoughts and feeling for you. And then I see across the way, Garrett's winning his true second match to qualify. And that was coaching to me in a nutshell. Like I see one kid, get everything he ever wanted, and another kid, fall just short. And how do you manage that for both of them? But the nice part, I think, for our club and for you guys is that it is a team thing. I mean, we're not on a team necessarily, but those kids don't get to achieve what they did without guys like you. And my personal opinion, like you're gonna do so well at the college level, it's not funny. So while maybe it was a tough loss, or those were tough losses, I have a feeling we haven't seen the last of you in some big high profile matches.
Nope. I feel like things like that though, like when you get a tough loss, they make you a lot better though. I mean, yeah, it would have been nice to win and go to state and all that crap, but in the future, for my college career, it'll probably make me a lot better.
There's a lot of kids that go to the next level that ain't prepared for it because they haven't had the learning opportunities. And that's something you can't say you're short on.
Yep.
I guess we'll wrap this up, and we had to wrap it up twice with Owen because I had to keep talking, but I'm going to do a better job this time. I would like to thank you, Derek, for everything. You, like I said earlier, you keep things light in the room, like you're fun. I mean, you tick me off from time to time, but it's like a fun tick me off. It's like having a little brother that I don't have to ever take care of or care about once we leave the wrestling room. But seriously, thank you and your family. You guys do a lot for us. I'm going to open the floor to you to end the conversation. Who do you want to thank?
Well, obviously you, because you're the coach.
Oh, wrong.
But
I'm just not included on this. Any other coaches, family members, etc.
I guess thank my dad, because before I could drive, and like when I started coming like 9th grade and a little bit of 10th grade, he drove me to practice and he sat through that for like an hour. So I guess I'd thank him for that. Yeah, and my parents, I guess, for paying for it.
All right, man. A few words. You are different on camera. It's kind of funny, Derek. Someday you're gonna come back and watch this. You know what? My whole goal, like the whole point of this, is to like give you guys some spotlight, let people know about you guys a little more. But what I'm kind of hoping is in like 4 years, like right before you get to your national tournament at Eau Claire, or you know whatever's going on, like when you're getting ready to graduate college, I hope you kind of look back and watch these and go, man, I was dumb at 18 years old.
Yeah. I mean, I have more to say, but you said keep it appropriate, so.
This is going out to the world, so I appreciate the way you not only answered candidly but appropriately today, Derek.
I bet Joe's will be a little different.
I'm gonna pull the reins on that one right away. Hey, I didn't get your question. What's your question for the next person, whoever it may be?
Let's see here. I gotta think about this. So, can you tell me who it is?
No, that's the fun part.
God.
And as I told Owen, I don't want to. Oh, what's your favorite color? I don't want college entry-level class icebreakers. Doesn't necessarily have to be wrestling related, but
God, I can't think. This is the hardest question of them all.
Well, I tell you what, if you come up with it, you could text it to me.
Okay, that sounds good.
All right. Yeah. Well, thank you for your time. Thanks to anybody who's watching. If you're watching, who knows? These might just go onto the internet and never surface again. But thank you, and thank Derek and his family and everything, and we'll come back at you with the next episode of whatever we're gonna call this at some point. Ain't nobody really than Gorilla. Ain't nobody really than Gorilla. I said, ain't nobody really than Gorilla. Ain't nobody really than Gorilla.